Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling this book, Stop Doing That Shit. It's by Gary John Bishop.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. It's pretty popular.
Yeah, and for good reason. This book is like a punch in the gut. I mean, it really makes you confront the ways we all, self-sabotage.
It does not pull any punches.
Right. Like, it's not all feel-good affirmations and stuff.
Yeah.
It dives deep into how, our past experiences can actually set us up to repeat the same dumb mistakes over and over.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around with any quick fixes. Bishop goes straight for that root cause, our subconscious.
It's like that place where so much of our, behavior comes from, but we're totally clueless about it.
So true. We're running on autopilot, basically.
Autopilot, guided by all these hidden conclusions we've, formed about ourselves, about other people, even about life itself.
And that leads us to self-sabotage. I mean, think about it. We get stuck in these negative patterns, make choices that totally don't serve us.
Limit our potential, yeah, without even realizing it. So how does this autopilot, even get programmed in the first place? Bishop has this awesome metaphor, the magic little sponge.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's like we start out as these open sponges, right? Just soaking up everything around us.
We're super impressionable as kids. We absorb family dynamics, what we see on TV, even societal expectations.
All of that shapes our subconscious. It's crazy.
It's a huge way, yeah.
But as we grow up, the sponge, hardens.
It's like it gets tougher, less absorbent.
And all those early conclusions, especially the negative ones, they get trapped inside.
Yeah, they become like the hidden foundation of our adult lives.
I'm not good enough, or the world's a dangerous place, that kind of stuff.
Right. Those beliefs, they become scripts, these invisible scripts that are always running in the background.
And they're influencing our thoughts, emotions, our actions without us knowing it.
It's kind of freaky when you think about it. We react based on those old beliefs, just automatically.
Okay, let's pause here and think about this in real life. Have you ever procrastinated on a big project?
Oh, yeah.
Even though you knew you had to do it. Maybe deep down, there's this part of you that thinks, I can't handle success, or something like that.
Yeah, that's the hardened sponge. All those old beliefs coming back to bite us.
Now, this next concept Bishop talks about, this blew my mind. It's called thrownness. It's this idea that, we're thrown into a whole bunch of circumstances we had absolutely no control over.
Thrownness, huh?
Yeah, our genetics, what family we're born into, the culture we're raised in.
We don't start with a blank slate, that's for sure.
No. And Bishop says we got to acknowledge that. We got to recognize that all those factors, they shape our starting point.
Makes sense. It helps us understand why we make the choices we do today.
Totally. So, to illustrate this, he asks us to imagine two kids. One grows up in a rich, supportive family.
Okay.
The other one grows up in poverty, facing instability,
Huge difference.
Right. Their whole experience, their view of the world, what they think is even possible, it's all shaped by those circumstances,
That powerful stuff. Makes you think.
And then there's another layer of thrownness. Think about your own life. Were you raised in a family that prioritized certain things? Maybe academic achievement.
Oh, yeah. I can see how that could, push you towards a specific career path.
Even if you're not aware of it. Okay, so we've got the hardened sponge, right? Filled with all that unique thrownness stuff.
Makes you wonder what's in there.
But Bishop goes even further. He points out that we then build on all of that by creating what he calls an established truth about our lives.
Established truth. Okay.
It's like your personal narrative, the story you tell yourself about, who you are and why your life is the way it is.
I can see that.
But here's the catch. It's often based on this, limited perspective.
Yeah.
It might not be the full picture at all.
Yeah, we got to watch out for that.
He uses this example. Imagine you're late for work because, I don't know, you spilled coffee all over yourself.
Oh, man. Been there.
Right. So how you react to that situation, that can actually reveal your established truth.
Interesting.
If your narrative is, I'm always a mess or nothing ever goes right for me, you're probably going to feel defeated, right?
Yeah, it just confirms that belief.
But what if your narrative is more like, I'm resourceful, I can handle this?
Oh, that's a good one.
Then you might laugh it off and find a solution. Same event, two totally different realities.
It's all about how we see things, huh?
Totally. And those stories we tell ourselves, they can become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah, if we think we're going to fail, we probably will.
What if we challenge those stories, though? What if we consider that there might be other, more empowering truths out there?
That's a good question to ask.
So we've got the sponge, thrownness, established truth. These are all setting the stage for what Bishop calls the three saboteurs.
Ooh, the saboteurs, yeah. Those are the guys causing all the trouble.
They're those deeply ingrained conclusions about ourselves, about others, about life. And guess what? They're almost always negative.
Oh yeah, they're sneaky little devils.
They're like these hidden criticisms, limitations, fears that stop us from, being our best selves.
They're not really problems to be fixed, though. They're more like these underlying beliefs that shape everything we do.
Even when we're trying to make positive changes,
Mm-hmm.
Bishop says they're so powerful because they're, like, under the radar.
Working in the shadows.
Exactly. Like, we might be consciously trying so hard to be successful and happy, but these saboteurs, they're pulling us back into old habits, old patterns.
Like they're always one step ahead.
And he names 3 specific ones: the yourself saboteur, the others saboteur, and the life saboteur.
Each one's got its own territory, huh?
So let's break them down. First up, yourself. This is all about the negative conclusions we have about ourselves, usually from way back in childhood.
Yeah, that's when the sponge is soaking it all up.
Bishop gives examples like, I'm not smart enough, I'm a loser, I'm not worthy of love.
Ouch. Those are rough.
They can be so damaging. They shape our self-esteem, our relationships, how we see the world.
It's like having this inner critic on repeat, just putting you down all the time.
No wonder we self-sabotage, right? If we constantly think we're not good enough. But here's the thing. These conclusions aren't facts.
Oh, that's good.
They're not. They're just our own interpretations based on our
Right.
childhood experiences, which, let's be real, are usually pretty limited.
So true.
All right, saboteur number 2. The others, saboteur. This is all about how we view other people.
Yeah, our assumptions about them.
And those assumptions shape our interactions, our relationships. They can lead to distrust, conflict, even loneliness.
Oof.
Think about beliefs like, people can't be trusted, or everyone's out to get me.
Or I'll always be let down. Man, those are heavy.
They create a wall between us and everyone else. We can't really connect when we think like that.
It's like we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It's crazy, right? We're on guard, expecting the worst from people. And then what happens? We actually create this situation we fear.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Bishop says we even test people subconsciously to see if they'll fit into our negative conclusions.
So we set them up to fail.
Yeah. And that confirms our limiting beliefs. Like, say your other's saboteur is whispering, people will always use you.
Oh, I know that one.
You'll be on high alert for any sign of manipulation. You might misinterpret things, overreact, constantly test their loyalty, which creates tension and distrust.
Makes it hard to relax, that's for sure.
And then the person pulls away, which just proves your point, right? Like, see, I knew I couldn't trust anyone.
Yeah, it's a painful cycle.
It is. But the good news is, it's a cycle we can break.
Yeah.
Okay, last saboteur, life. This one's about, like, our big picture beliefs about life itself.
The grand scheme of things, yeah.
Exactly. Beliefs like life is a struggle or nothing good ever lasts.
Or the world is just cruel and unfair.
Those beliefs, they create hopelessness,
Yeah.
resignation, the expectation of disappointment.
It's like carrying a giant weight around with you, always waiting for something bad to happen.
Bishop argues that this life saboteur is the most sneaky because it makes it seem like positive change is just temporary.
You work so hard to make things better, and it just goes back to how it was.
Like we don't deserve good things.
Yeah.
Or happiness is just fleeting. So we avoid risks, settle for less, and we unconsciously create situations that just prove our point about life being bad.
It's a tough one to break out of.
It is. So we've got these 3 saboteurs: yourself, others, and life, all working behind the scenes, whispering their lies.
It's like a conspiracy.
But don't worry, there's hope. In the next part of our deep dive into Stop Doing That Shoot, we're going to explore how to actually silence these saboteurs.
Yeah, I'm ready for some solutions.
And create a life of, like, freedom, purpose, joy.
Can't wait.
All right, so we've unmasked those 3 saboteurs, yourself, others, and life. They're hiding out in our subconscious, whispering all those negative messages.
Yeah, those guys are sneaky.
But now, like, how do we stop them from running the show? How do we break free?
Well, you know what's interesting? Bishop doesn't say we should, like, fight them head on.
Oh.
He doesn't tell us to conquer or destroy them. It's more subtle than that. He talks about redirection.
Redirection. Okay, what's that all about?
It's kind of like, imagine a toddler having a total meltdown, you know?
Yeah.
You don't try to reason with them when they're screaming, right? You just distract them.
Right.
You redirect their attention to something else, something fun, something that'll snap them out of it.
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
So instead of getting stuck in this battle with our saboteurs, We shift our focus.
To something more positive.
Exactly. Something that pulls us forward, something we're actually excited about.
So it's like we create a new force, a stronger force, overpowers those old negative scripts.
That's a great way to put it.
Bishop uses this cool example about Star Trek. You know how they seem to predict all these futuristic technologies?
Yeah, like cell phones and tablets.
Bishop's point is they didn't predict, they created. Like by imagining those possibilities so vividly, they kind of inspired people to make them real.
Wow, that's deep. So it's not about fighting limitations, it's about creating something so compelling it pulls us forward.
Exactly. So how do we apply that to our own lives? How do we create that kind of compelling future for ourselves?
Well, the first step is like really figuring out what you want. What would make your life amazing? What are you passionate about?
Yeah, what impact do you want to make on the world?
That's what gets you fired up.
And Bishop says, don't hold back, dream big. Imagine a future that makes your soul sing, you know?
Something you can't wait to get to.
And don't wait for someday or the perfect moment. Take action right now, today, that aligns with that future self.
It's like stepping into that future version of yourself.
You know what this reminds me of? That story Bishop tells about Michelangelo sculpting David.
Oh, yeah.
Michelangelo didn't see it as like creating something from scratch. He saw the masterpiece already inside the stone. It was just waiting to be revealed.
Yeah. That's such a cool way to think about it. So we're not trying to become something we're not. We're just uncovering what's already there.
Our best selves are already inside us, just hidden under layers of, limiting beliefs and stuff.
So true. And our thrownness or limitations, that's just raw material. We can sculpt it into something amazing.
This totally changes how I see things. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about revealing who I truly am.
Right. We're not broken or lacking something. We just haven't tapped into our full potential yet.
That's where Bishop's approach is so empowering. He's not saying change who you are. He's saying become more fully yourself.
It's beautiful.
And he's not messing around. He tells us straight up, take responsibility for your life. Stop blaming your past, your circumstances, other people.
He's tough, but he's right.
It's like he's saying you're the author of your own story. You got the ingredients, now bake something amazing.
He didn't say bake a cake, but yeah, that's the idea.
It's about owning our power, recognizing that we get to choose, to create, to shape our experiences.
That is super empowering. It means we're not victims of our circumstances. We can change things.
We can rewrite our stories.
And create a future that's aligned with what we really want.
But even though we have to own our stuff, Bishop says we don't have to do it alone.
Oh, that's good.
He talks about the importance of community, connecting with people who are also on this journey of growth.
Totally. We need each other.
It's like having a support system reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles.
And we can celebrate our wins together.
Okay, so how do we actually put this ownership into practice? How do we make this stuff real in our daily lives?
Bishop says it starts with awareness.
Paying attention to our thoughts, our feelings, our actions.
Especially the ones that lead to self-sabotage, right?
Right, catching those saboteurs red-handed. And he talks about the power of language, too.
Oh, yeah. The words we use are huge.
Like if we keep saying, I can't, we're just reinforcing that belief. But what if we said, I'm learning to, instead?
That's a much better mindset.
It's about shifting from a language of limitations to a language of possibility.
It's like reprogramming our brains for success.
And that ties back into redirection, right? We're changing our focus, our energy, by changing our words.
Even small changes in language can make a big difference in how we act.
Totally. It's like planting seeds of possibility.
I like that.
Bishop also talks about taking consistent action, aligned action.
Oh, yeah. It's not about waiting for some big moment.
It's about making small choices every day that move us closer to our vision.
Like weaving that future vision into our daily routines.
Instead of waiting for someday, we need to start acting as if that future self is already here.
What would that future you do? How would they act?
We can start closing that gap between who we are and who we want to be, one step at a time.
And each step builds momentum, you know?
Totally. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a good way. So we've talked about redirection, owning our stuff, taking action. But there's one more thing Bishop talks about that I think is super important. It's about shifting from trying to be something to just doing it.
Oh, I like that. I struggle with that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like we spend so much energy trying to be confident, successful, happy.
Yeah.
But we forget to actually do the things that would make us feel that way.
We're so focused on the end goal, we miss the steps to get there.
Right. Like we say, if I just get that promotion, then I'll be successful. Or,
Yeah.
if I just lose weight, then I'll be confident.
We're putting the cart before the horse.
Totally. Bishop says we've got it backward.
So what should we do instead?
What if we flip the script? Like instead of trying so hard to be something, we focused on doing the things that, a confident person would do.
Interesting. Act the part.
Exactly. Bishop uses this example of like someone who wants to be a writer. They dream of expressing themselves, sharing their stories, but they get stuck in that being trap.
They're waiting for inspiration.
Yeah. Or the perfect moment, some kind of validation that they're a real writer.
I've been there.
And the crazy thing is, all that waiting actually prevents them from writing.
Oh, that's so true. It's like we need permission to be who we want to be.
Bishop says, forget permission. Just start acting as if you're already that person.
Like fake it till you make it.
It's more than that. It's
Yeah.
like embody those qualities, take action, and the identity will follow.
So instead of waiting for inspiration, that writer just sits down and writes.
Every day.
Yeah.
They might start with messy drafts, try different styles.
Just get the words out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The point is, they're doing the work. And as they write, they reinforce their identity as a writer.
Each word they write makes them more of a writer.
It's powerful, right?
Mm.
Action creates identity. And that applies to everything. Want more confidence? Do confident things.
Want to be a better leader? Lead.
Want to be healthier? Make healthy choices.
It's not about faking it. It's about acting your way into a new way of being.
Love that.
Yeah.
So this challenges us to be honest with ourselves, right? It's not enough to just dream about a better future.
Right.
We have to ask ourselves, what am I actually doing that aligns with that future? What actions am I taking?
That's a good question.
Bishop's got this great line. He asks, what are you actually up to that would make this life of yours a truly great one?
He cuts right to the chase.
It's a call to action. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses.
It reminds me of that Michelangelo metaphor. We're sculpting our lives.
Chipping away at the things that don't serve us.
Letting go of limitations, old patterns.
So what are you ready to let go of? What actions are you ready to take?
It's different for everyone, right?
Totally. This is about figuring out what works for you, what aligns with your heart, your values.
And remember, we're not broken.
Bishop says, you're not a fucking chair. You're an expression. So go out there and express yourself.
Yeah. Express your potential, your gifts, everything that makes you unique.
Stop playing small. Stop holding back.
We've got this.
That's our deep dive into stop doing that sheet.
Yeah.
We hope this has inspired you to, stop doing the things that hold you back.
And start living the life you're meant to live.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.